Hey guys, if you haven't watched part 1, you can click right here, but without further ado, let's move on right ahead to the top 10 cinematic intros of all time. This is gonna be fun. Number 10. Not every game on this list is gonna be a classic. Take Musashi Samurai Legend, the leisure sequel of the PS1 classic. It's just okay, it's nothing horrible, but as you can tell, it's kinda sluggish. But its intro is really cool.
Well, I'm in no way a CG hater. It's really nice to see something hand-drawn once in a while.
This intro is an anime fan's dream. Plenty of action, cool set pieces, and very unique animation. I say unique because the studio behind is none other than Studio Gainax, the studio behind anime like Fully Cooley and Gurren Lagann. Speaking of Gurren Lagann, the character design is very similar to that anime, but something is missing. Oh, there we go. My favorite part is probably when Musashi tosses his girlfriend to the air. At least I think it's his girlfriend. Not only that Musashi is managing to beat a ton of bad guys while she is still falling, but he also manages to catch her before she lands on the ground.
Now if he was only that fast in the game...
The only real flaw here is the music, and as much as I love rock just like the other guy, the synth rock music is very dull and forgettable, which is disappointing considering how vivid and lively this intro is. As it stands, this is the quintessential action anime opening. Just next time, Square, make sure the game is as good, please. Number 9. Skies of Arcadia, the game that introduced me to Japanese RPGs. I don't really have much to say about this one except how much it screams adventure. I just love it. The settings, the music, and the well-constructed shots are really well done, and the scenery, especially when they show you all the different locations you're gonna visit, is just astounding. I know I've been going on and on some of my explanations, but in the case of Skies of Arcadia, I just can't really explain why I love this opening so much. It doesn't really have anything that really stands out compared to other openings in this list so far, but I just love it. Sometimes you don't really have to give a lot of explanation and just enjoy the opening for what it is, an experience, and that's why Skies of Arcadia is on my list. Number 8. If there is a franchise that has a deep place in my heart, is the Fire Emblem series. I just love it. I know they may not be the most approachable games out there, but they have such an emotional effect on me, I have to put one of them on the list. And the one I'm choosing is Fire Emblem Awakening, and for several reasons too. For one, I really like the symbolism in the opening when you see the stream of light along with the butterfly. And then you see them go from the peaceful castle all the way to the harsh Cold War where the soldiers are marching. You see flames everywhere and embers. Soldiers are dying by arrows, and you even see dark streams of light chasing the butterfly, which is really symbolic when you think about it. Another reason why I love this opening is how well the visual and the audio presentation go hand in hand. It begins with the serene castle setting all the way to the harsh, cold realities of war, and in the end, the Fire Emblem theme that always brings a tear to my eye. And let me also emphasize, this is a 3DS game, and I actually watch this opening always with the 3D up. And it's a good thing I can do that because I'm over 7 years old. But in all seriousness, Fire Emblem Awakening is one of my favorite intros of all time because of how much heart and soul has been put into it that I wish a lot of openings would follow the same way too. If you haven't played this game yet, please try it out. In my personal opinion, it's my favorite 3DS game, and I think more people should be exposed to it. You'll thank me later. Number 7. Oh look, it's another anime game, but this time it's Dragon Ball Z. The opening for the first Budokai was actually the original Japanese opening with Rock the Dragon as its music. I want to see if you can tell what's wrong in this picture. Oh yeah, because that's exactly what I want to watch.
Two characters walking
Slowly.
The weirder part is the fact that the European opening of Budokai is just some random instrumental part that doesn't even fit with the game at all, so what the hell happened?
Thank God for the sequel. Again, it's kind of a theme that's going on.
Just listen to this intro. Do I need to say anything? The difference between this intro and Musashi's is the fact the music here is really good. I love the theme so much that it really pumps me up for a battle, and that's what it should do. What's more is that if you lived in Europe or Japan, you actually got to listen to the vocal version of it titled Kusuburu Hato no Hi o Tsukero, sung by the same guy who did the original Chala Hechala. Which reminds me, Flo also have a version of that song.
No.
Now I know what you're all thinking. What about Budokai 3? While it sleeps in valleys beyond Budokai 2 as a game, and the song is fantastic as well, I found Budokai 2 to be better. Budokai 3's intro takes place in the same scene, and the majority of it revolves around the heroes getting their ass handed to them by the villains. Until Goku and Vegeta fuse and stuff. Two had a much bigger impact on me. For one, it's the first time I've ever seen Goku turn Super Saiyan 3. The game came out in 2003, but the anime reached Israel in 2004, so this blew my mind. I never knew what this form is. Second, the animation here is far more dynamic, and there's a lot of scenes that pay homage to the series as a whole, and I really love watching it because it reminds me about all the highlights. Budokai's 2 intro may not be everyone's cup of tea, especially if you're not a Dragon Ball Z fan, but no one can deny how energetic and vibrant it is. Considering it's one of the first pieces of animation that Studio Toei did after the conclusion of the anime, it's nice to see the characters in animated form. Oh, and you gotta love that ending. Number 6. I don't know where to begin. Do I really need to talk about this? Heck, the developers even give you clear hints on how this was conceived to begin with. You can write an entire book about all the odd things the Katamari openings had in them. And yes, they're all pretty much the same. Even the PS3 one had Sukuma Switch doing the opening, and it's still the same stick. So why? Why would a store carry a turtle? Why do giraffes and elephants pop in the background? Why is this panda doing this? Why is the singer saying, "Okay, Mr. Sunshine"?
Walking Mr. Sunshine.
Why is Mr. Hen making a cameo? Why is a family riding a rocket in space without losing air?
And why can't I erase this image from my head?
I think the whole point of those intros is just to suspend your disbelief and have fun with it. I think we can all agree that after all those whys, we're just left with one what? What the fuck? Number 5. Do you remember what I said about Tekken being one of the first series to use CG intros? Well, yeah, it's true, but Final Fantasy VIII is the perfection of that era. Tekken 2 might have been the first CG intro I've ever been exposed to, but this is the first one that truly put me in awe. I still find it hard to believe that it was done in 1999. It even looks better than some Wii games out there!
Yeah, that's actually really sad.
The imagery is also very unique. I especially like the contrast between the field of flowers and how one feather just flows away in the wind, only to turn later into Squall's gunblade while the weather becomes much darker, there are thunder and lightning and you see the text showing up, and then of course you see Cypher and Squall about to fight each other. I know I keep saying over and over of how battles are really well choreographed, but in this specific case, this is pretty much the zenith of choreographed fights. This is well done, and I can watch it to this very day, almost 15 years afterwards, and enjoy it. What's more is that the rivalry between Squall and Cypher is some of the best in video games of all time. That's actually a pretty good idea for a list. And how can I not talk about this intro without mentioning the music? Nobuo Uematsu is a genius. The choir here is so sublime that even Danny Elfman's jaw will drop. While it's not my favorite intro of all time, this intro has a lot of things going for it. Symbolism, scope, epic fights, music, it definitely got a well-deserved spot in my top 5. Number 4. The Tales series. Definitely one of my favorite JRPG series of all time. The problem with being a series like Tales is there are just a lot of choices. Of course the animation is great in all of them, but the main factor are the songs. And sadly because Namco thought that Americans won't like J-music, we were left with a lot of crappy instrumental orchestral music. But there was one thing that actually wasn't botched. Tales of the Abyss. I think when it comes to eye-popping animation, this stands out the most for me. Especially that scene when Luke is skydiving and there are green musical notes in the background and he's lashing a monster in half. And aside making it look cool, it does a really good job establishing all of the characters in the chorus. Which brings me to the part when I gush about the chorus, so here we go! Oh, and I almost forgot! Obligatory Johnny Youngbush appearance here. Also, here's a fun fact. The band who originally did this song is called Bump of Chicken. I am not kidding, that's literally how they called. Anyways, I have to say that most of the time I prefer the Japanese original. I prefer the Western rendition this time around because I think the instrumental are much stronger. And I have the same passion for this intro as I do for Budokai 2. I just like popping the disc inside my system and just watch it over and over because it's really that fun to watch. If you can't find the game on the PS2, the game is also out on the 3DS, which is actually quite common, so I'll definitely recommend check it out and experience this intro for yourself. Number 3. From this point forward, the top 3 are all franchises that I consider having the best intros of all time, and the Soul series is one of them. For the most part, you're not gonna see me defend the opening of 4 or 5. Heck, the opening of 5 just involves Siegfried and Nightmare clashing. Yay. Each of the first 4 games in the series had great intros. Soul Blade had that amazing song. Soulcalibur showed us the power of the Dreamcast, and both of its sequels had great CG intros. But when it comes to my personal choice, I have to go with the first. Soulcalibur. Soul Blade would be my runner-up because that song is in fact that good. But Calibur's intro is perhaps the most revolutionary intro out there. We all know that when you watch an opening, the editing is very predetermined. All the shots remain in the same order, there's nothing you can do about it. Well, not with Soulcalibur's opening direction mode, you can change the scenes around to your liking. Do you not like Shangwa? Put Lizardman there. Do you want to put Mitsurugi at the final scene? You could do that. Don't want Sophidia? Just put Mai Shiranui there. God, I wish. In fact, my favorite scene to edit is where Sophidia is at the field. No matter what character is chosen, Sophidia's animation will still be there. Picking up a flower, stroking the hair, all that stuff. So I decided to choose Cervantes because it's pretty hilarious to see him do that stuff. That's the fun of this opening, you can tinker with it so many times and it really makes it unique, it makes it your personal Soulcalibur opening. It's really good thing that the music and the graphics are really good too, and we can definitely declare the Soul burns strongly with this one. Number 2! Well, I managed to avoid it for 18 entries, but now I have to choose an opening from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. And I don't know if you guys figured this, but I really like Sonic games. So much so that I have a hard time choosing an opening. The two I've been conflicting with the most are Sonic CDs and Sonic Adventure. And I would like to take the douchebag route and just do a tie, but I don't want to do that, so my final choice is gonna be Sonic Adventure. But let me gush over Sonic CD because, well, it's my list and I can. You have to realize that back in 1993, no one expected that fluid of an animation out of a video game. Yes, it was on the Sega CD originally, but come on, I never seen anything like that. Even though I played the game about 5 years after it came out, but still! It has fantastic animation, and even if you lived in the US and listened to Sonic Boom, or lived in the UK or Japan and listened to Toot Toot Sonic Warrior, that opening is definitely a classic. But now we can finally move on to Sonic Adventure. The first thing that I really like about this opening is how well it builds the atmosphere. You see Station Square at first, a quaint city, very peaceful, people just walking by, minding their own business, and then you see water start gushing from the sewer and then coming straight out of the streets. A giant flood is going on and the city is in a state of chaos. Or should I say, perfect chaos? In my personal opinion, this is a very good way of establishing a villain, and drowning an entire city is definitely a major feat, and that's the reason why Perfect Chaos is one of the best Sonic villains of all time. He was better than that stupid lizard who has an entire space station stuck up its butt. And along with his very first Crash 40 song, Open Your Heart. Maybe it's not live and learn, but it's still a bona fide classic, no matter what people say. What I also really like about this opening is some of the shots that they use. For example, one of my favorite moments is when the camera zooms into Eggman as he's just cruising on his egg carrier. It even makes Big the Cat look dignified with the lightning in the background. Somewhat dignified. Well, let me just add this, maybe with this, and that. Nah, that still doesn't help. I also love all the POV shots from Sonic's perspective, and when you finally get to see him, it's really fulfilling. People might say that the game aged poorly and the control sucks and no one likes the fishing, but no one can deny that the opening to Sonic Adventure is incredible. Definitely a classic. Number 1! So what can possibly top the almighty Sonic the Hedgehog? To quote a fine video maker out there, Hideo frickin' Kojima. Yes, Metal Gear Solid. Some of you could see it from a mile away, but I think the harder part is to decide which of the two openings I'm gonna choose. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty or Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Choosing only one to talk about would be a crime since both of them are absolutely phenomenal, so I want to give them both a fair amount of time in the spotlight. Let's start with MGS2. I think the moment that this intro immediately hooked me is at the beginning with the electronic beeping as it slowly builds up, and then you see all those backgrounds with the ancient transcript, the computer data, the DNA strip. It's really unique. And of course, the moment you see that bridge, you know things are gonna get down. And to be brutally honest, I love the MGS theme. Play it! Like something that came straight from a Hollywood production. The clever text graphics, the sharp editing, and telling all the events of the game to come, and that music, dear god, the music. I love how it changes levels, from a quiet build-up to a triumphant refrain, to the quiet yet heroic finish. This could have been an easy choice for my number 1 pick, if it wasn't for Snake Eater. Dear god, Snake Eater, I think when it comes to the music, it makes even a bigger impact than the original theme. That orchestra at the beginning with the brass instrument definitely set the tone. Before I comment about the music, let me tell you about how great the editing is. I love how the text slithers like a snake and the smoke of it reminds me of a Rorschach picture. Also, I love seeing all the skeleton snakes in the background. It's so Toyota! No, I'm not kidding, it's so Toyota. Ha. Those definitely contribute to the whole notion how this intro is a homage to the James Bond movies. But what really drives it home is the masterful soundtrack. The music here is fantastic with a lot of brass instruments, with plenty of levels to work with and the phenomenal vocal work of Cynthia Harrell. Her vocals make this song a classic. Even if the lyrics are kinda odd, she sings it so well it doesn't even matter.
What is my final choice? Well, first I'd like to thank Harry Gregson Williams for giving us gamers 2 masterpieces, for lack of a better word. As both themes are okay, fine. It's the toughest call I've had to make so far, but my final choice is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid 2's theme is what got me into the series to begin with. I never played Metal Gear Solid 1 before, and a friend of mine just happened to buy the game, and the opening literally converted me to a fan. So you can consider that my number 1.1. But I just cannot deny how great Snake Eater is. I just can't.
When I experience something like this opening, I don't just consider it a collection of shots and a piece of music. I literally feel like I'm having an experience. This is by far the only opening on this list that whenever I'm playing this game, I'm watching it from beginning to end without skipping, because the experience of watching this is so influential to me. I will feel a lot more confident whenever I'm playing this game because of this intro. And if an intro makes me feel that way, there is no doubt in my mind that Metal Gear Solid 3 has the best intro of all time. Thank you for watching, guys. Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this two-parter. I really worked hard for it, so I hope it is to your liking. I'm definitely gonna make more videos this coming June. I'm gonna have a new series of reviews, so look forward to that. And in the meantime, why not just click on some other videos I have and subscribe? That'll be really cool. Until then, I have a lot of work to do, so you guys take care. Oh, and blah.